coming with me whether you want to or not.
Are you ready for tales of wonder?
Reports of unknown flying objects over there.
Mysteries and horror.
Satanism, necromancy, alchemy, witchcraft, worship Satan.
Conspiracies that dazzle the mind.
The mystic moment has arrived.
Here are your hosts for this expedition, Cameron and Coby. Just don't tell anyone what you are about to hear, because this podcast is a secret.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. We've got a very exciting show for you today.
We really do. I can't tell you how much I love Alien.
Yeah.
Encounters and abductions. So that's what we're going to talk about.
And this sucker is the OG.
It is.
Of them all.
Yeah.
Right?
By the end of this, you're going to feel like someone probed alien information deep inside.
That's right. So today we're talking about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction story.
Yes.
So quickly, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what this thing is, and then we're going to get down into the nitty-gritty details as we get going. So September 1961, Betty, Barney Hill, American couple, claimed they witnessed a UFO while driving home from vacation in Canada. After the sighting, the Hills experienced a period of missing time. They couldn't account for about 2 hours of their journey.
Happens all the time in my life.
I guess so, but probably not good. Through hypnosis, Betty and Barney recovered memories of being taken aboard a spacecraft by non-human entities. If you don't know, those are aliens, Cam. Their story was even adapted into the best-selling book, The Interrupted Journey, and the 1975 television film, The UFO Incident. It's a must-watch there. The Hill story was widely publicized and remains a significant case in the study of UFOs and alien abductions. So, as we get going, we actually have a little clip, and this is Barney.
Is it?
This is Barney actually in the hypnosis sessions.
Oh, really?
Talking, and so
I haven't heard this either.
And this is brand new for you. It's brand new for everybody else. So let's have a listen.
We go deeper and deeper, deeper asleep, far asleep. You will not be anxious or distressed, but you will remember everything and you will tell me everything. Yes. And Betty said, "Look, there's a star moving." And then I pulled over to the side of the road. It's an airplane. You can see the rows of windows. I drive, and Betty is still looking, and she says, "Barney, that is not a plane. It is still following us." I believe Betty is trying to make me think this is a flying saucer. I am thinking this is strange.
Oh, man.
That's creepy.
Yeah, so the
Never heard that.
tapes are actually, they are insane when you listen. There's like 9 hours of tapes.
We're going to play them all.
We're going to play them all. So sit back, relax, because the recordings, it sounds like they recorded it on a Fisher Price. It's like a psychiatry
Talk boy.
set. Yeah, it's really bad. But that's actually Barney talking about the experience. So we're going to get to that.
That's cool.
But let's kind of get to who is Betty and Barney.
Yeah.
Cam?
No, and I think this is really important because they're not just, some hillbillies out in the forest that said they were abducted. Like, they were prominent figures at that time. Like, they were involved in community activities and everything like that. So, let's talk about Betty Eunice Barrett.
Okay.
June 28, 1919 is when she was born. New Hampshire. Her family primarily made income from farming.
Sure.
And so she grew up the farmer's way, best way there is.
That's how Cam grew up.
It is how I grew up. You can usually tell by the way I talk.
That's where it comes from.
That's
by
where
the way.
the reading ability comes from.
Uh-huh.
But she was actually a very smart and intelligent child. She dreamed of moving on from the farm and becoming an independent woman.
Yeah, man.
Considered leaving the farm at one point, just anything that she could do. She thought, I'll just join the circus.
Did she really?
Yeah, she wanted to, but her family turned that down.
Oh, yeah.
But that's how ambitious she was. She wanted to get going with life.
I can't imagine the dad being like, "Oh, yeah, go ahead."
Well, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yep.
So eventually she attended University of New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
So hard not to say that.
I want to say it every time.
Yeah. And there she made friends with Mary Ann Franklin. 1937. She started learning of inequality and worked to fight against it. And that was something that continued through her life and also Barney's life. She became pretty sick one year, and she actually stayed. She did not attend a full semester or a year of school. And during that time, she went and worked as a waitress at a kitchen and fell in love with a man named Bod Stewart.
Bod? No, that's not real, is it?
No, I think I missed out on the Y. Bodie Stewart? I don't even think it's that.
If it's Bod Stewart, that is the
It's
coolest
Rod
name
Stewart.
ever.
I'm sorry. I must have typoed it. Anyway, he was a cook, and she was like
If you want
enamored
my
by him. So
body. Yeah. Isn't that the Rod Stewart
that's
song?
a great.
That's right. Bod Stewart. That's the
He
best.
was Rod Stewart's brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice guy. They got married. They stayed together for 14 years, and she adopted the kids that he had in his previous marriage. Later, she found out he was cheating on her, and she left.
You can't trust a cook named Bod Stewart. That's the lesson we're learning, right?
I think it was Bob Stewart.
Bob, maybe it's Bob. I don't know. I'm going
It
with
sucks
Bod.
that I messed up. Anyway, it's not important to the story.
It's
He
not.
was a douche and, and
we didn't
cheated
like
on
him.
her. So
Yeah.
she moved on. She actually bought a home. And interestingly enough about this home is she had the oil and gas on the coast approach her about buying the house, and she sold it. And then she bought it back because she's like, what are you going to do? And they said they were going to tear it down. And they're like, we'll just relocate. Or she's like, I'll get it relocated if I can just buy it back from you.
Wow.
So she paid literally nothing to get it back and had it relocated. But it was during that time that she stayed at a boarding house, and that's when she met Barney Hill and his family. He was married and had two kids, but they became friends, and there was nothing fishy going on. You know,
just
they were good people, honorable. Later, Barney got divorced, and that's how they ended up together. But a little on Barney, there's not as much history on him. He was a store clerk at one point. He joined the Army and was in the Army for 3 years as a truck driver during World War II.
Cool.
A grenade incident had him discharged. I don't know what that entails, but it sounds bad.
It sounds explosive, whatever it was.
It does.
Right?
After he was discharged honorably from the military, he became involved with the United States Postal Service.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a mail carrier, and he's also very active in civil rights movements.
Yeah, because he was a black man.
Yeah, yes.
He was a black man.
But these were, obviously smart, intelligible people, had normal lives. And like I said, they met each other before and they were good friends, and they ended up getting married. Things were hard. They were money was tight. So they didn't, when they got married in 1960, they were unable to do any honeymoon at the time.
Yeah.
And so they waited, saved some money, and they decided, they had an opportunity in September 1961 to go on that honeymoon, and they pulled $70 out of the bank. That's all they had, and they went on the trip.
Let's get it done,
So
she said.
So now you kind of understand, these weren't just backcountry hillbilly,
Sitting on the porch.
Yeah, they didn't get abducted off from the tailgate of their truck.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
They were prominent figures.
Upstanding citizens.
Exactly.
Right.
So, there you go.
So let's talk about the night in question.
Yes.
Let's set the scene a little bit. It was 1961.
This is a good scene, too.
It was a great scene, man. 1961, again, a year after they're married, finally coming home from this honeymoon that they've just been, looking forward to. They're returning from Niagara Falls in Montreal, Canada. They set off on a drive home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, passing through the White Mountains. Already sounds kind of creepy. I don't know. White Mountains? Doesn't sound like something out of Lord of the Rings or something.
Kinda does.
I kind of get that vibe. The moon illuminated the highway, casting shadows on the empty road as they drove through the night. So it's pretty late. They'd run out of cash, so they didn't have.
And unlike today, there's no one out there.
There's nobody out there. They didn't have any cash, and they couldn't. They didn't have credit cards. It is what it is. So they just had to drive through the night. They're like, we're just going to keep going, get home. Their car was the only one on the road at that late hour, and then something happened that defied all explanation, a moment that would forever change their lives.
An exciting event that is it's like the gold standard
It really
of
is.
abductions.
Well, and it's like the first. And this is why this is so interesting to me.
Right. And so, as they returned home, as Coby was saying, Betty noticed a bright light that streamed across the sky and described it as what she thought was a shooting star. She's like, "Hey, Barney, there's a shooting star. This is our honeymoon. It's beautiful."
Make a wish, Barney. I wish you would shut up so I could get home.
Just be quiet.
Just be quiet.
I got some mail to deliver.
I'm just thinking about my mail route right now.
Yeah. So the light seemed to move with the car. It was almost like it was following it through the trees, which was, pretty unusual.
It's not.
It doesn't normally do that.
Nah.
The light also zigged and zagged, ducking past the moon and behind the trees. I don't know how it goes right.
How does it go past the moon?
I think kind of under the moon.
Oh,
type of thing.
you go behind it and then come back.
That looks like a 50s film.
That does.
You see it go behind.
Wait, what?
Now wait a minute. So it's kind of like a cat and mouse between them and this whatever it was. Because it moved so erratically and grew bigger and brighter, Betty urged Barney to stop the car for a closer look. She's like, "What is this thing? Like, we need to get a better look." They pulled off in an area, kind of a picnic area, and they had binoculars with them. So they started looking at it. And Barney, an avid plane watcher and World War II vet, he was pretty familiar.
Avid plane watcher. I love that.
Yeah, I know.
I like to watch planes and deliver mail. That's it.
Super simple life, but a beautiful life.
That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
Well, and civil rights. I guess he had civil rights.
Well, that was important, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, so he was like, it's pretty much probably a plane, or even it could be a satellite. And I did look up, satellites were up in the air at this time.
When did Sputnik go up back in the day?
Like early,
50s?
Late 40s, early 50s when they started putting satellites up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but however, he soon changed his mind because the light appeared to turn and rapidly descend in their direction.
Yeah.
This observation caused Barney to realize this object that I thought was a plane is not a plane.
Right, yeah.
And there's a little bit of confusion of when he spotted the windows in the thing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
During this is when they say that he was looking through the binoculars himself, and he kind of saw what looked like windows. So he's like, maybe it is a plane. And Betty, looking through the binoculars, she noticed it kind of had an odd shaped. Some at one point they explained it looking like an elongated cigar.
Yeah,
which is
different than some of them
said it looked like a pancake.
Yeah, it's a pancake.
So they're super hungry on the way home.
I need a smoke and some breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when it grew a little bit closer, Betty said that it looked like it was spinning in the air.
Okay.
Barney, she said, I think if you think that's a satellite or star, you are completely ridiculous. So he knew
you
she
got to
was
use
right.
her voice. I want to hear what her voice sounds like.
She's deep. She's a smoker.
Okay. It's the whole cigar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying not to spook Betty, he was becoming kind of concerned about it, and he decided, let's just head straight home. We're not going to stop anywhere. Let's just get out of here. But was trying to do it in a calm way.
Yeah.
They got back in their car and they headed about 1 mile south of Indian Head, which is a point that they've marked now. It's like
is it?
Yeah, a monument there. An object rapidly descended toward their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. The huge silent craft, that was the thing, is it didn't make any noise, hovered about 80 to 100 feet above their 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air and filled the entire field of view of the windshield. It reminded Barney of a huge pancake. He's hungry.
He's getting hungry. That looked like a pancake to you?
You said cigar, a pancake.
You got any syrup?
Yeah.
Let's get that.
So Barney decided to explore further, and they had a handgun with them. Said it was Betty's handgun. But
it was Betty's?
Yeah, that's what it said in a lot of other reports. But so he put it in his pocket, and he grabbed the binoculars, and he approached this vessel or whatever it was, leaving Betty in the car. He saw, as he got closer to this pancake that was silent, floating in the air, he said, oh my gosh, what is this thing? This can't be real. He couldn't believe his own eyes. Using the binoculars, Barney claimed to have seen 8 to 11 humanoid figures in there. And all of them kind of moved to the back and one stayed forward. And he started to get pretty uncomfortable about this.
Well, yeah.
And he reached for his gun. And then he heard this voice that was like, stay where you are. Keep looking. Was it
like, Betty?
He doesn't know.
Stay where you are.
He said that thing was communicating to him to kind of stay where you are and keep looking.
Like telepathy type.
Yeah. And he was like, Anyways, he got kind of startled and was able to get away. And he ran back to the car and they took off.
Okay.
This is where it gets really weird and really kind of like hazy with what happened after this. As they were kind of booking it out of there, he was pretty freaked out. So was Betty. She was kind of following this thing behind him. And at one point, the trunk started to like vibrate and give off this weird like humming noise.
Did you bring your toy with you, Betty?
You didn't turn it off.
You didn't turn off the...
We don't have time to stop now. And so as they're moving along and that's vibrating like crazy in the back and making this noise.
Imagine the machines they had back then for that. It's like this big metal...
It's probably elongated cigar shaped.
Nuclear powered or something.
But at that point, he kind of loses consciousness, they believe. They don't know if they fell asleep, they forget, but there's 2 hours that weren't accounted for. They got home when they thought they'd be there at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The sun was coming up.
Yeah.
So they can't retell the events at that point.
It's very confusing.
They
for
were
them,
like,
right?
what just happened? Yeah. So
they also had a dog with them.
I was going to mention that. Why is that not talked about at any
They do
point?
talk about it here. It depends on the story that you read, but they have Delcy, their little puppy.
Yeah, they did. And that was the other thing. They had to stop to let her go out.
They're like, you got to let Delcy go to the bathroom.
Betty's got to pee. Delcy's got to pee.
Yeah, they all got to pee.
So
now they're kind of getting home, right? And they're grappling with a whole bunch of different emotions. Like they're scared, they're curious about what's going on, and they have kind of this weird sense of urgency when they get home, right? And then they realize, they've
been driving all night.
It's all night long. They realize that somehow several hours of memories are gone. They can't pull up what happened that night. They're super confused. It's just like walking around in a daze almost, right? They knew something odd had happened during those 2 hours. They know they weren't just like sleeping or something. Something weird had happened. So when they get home, Betty...
The batteries are dead in something.
Betty insisted that their luggage be kept near the back door rather than in the main part of the house. She was afraid of it for some reason. She thought maybe it was contaminated.
Was it in the trunk?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was contaminated, she thought.
That makes sense.
Maybe
something's vibrating like crazy back there.
Radiation. Everyone was scared of radiation.
I know.
Right? Back then. So
it was totally
It was very, very odd. And then that is just one of many things that felt very odd to them when they got home. Their watches had stopped working, and they would never work again after that. Just both of them stopped working. Barney's shoes were oddly scuffed. They were beat up, and you can actually see pictures of this online, and it looks like
he was dragged or something.
Like he was dragged with toes down, through the
out.
Yeah, just gone, right? Which, and he's like, I don't know how this happened. This doesn't make any sense. Betty's dress was ripped, and Betty's not the kind of girl that walks around in a ripped dress. She's got good stuff, right? Barney said that the leather strap for the binoculars was torn, and he could not recall it tearing. And a leather strap,
hard to tear.
You got to put some pressure on there to tear one of those things. So again, just another one of the weird stuff that started to pile up for him.
They just didn't, none of it was coming to him, right?
No, they had no idea. And at this point, they've kind of gone inside, and Barney has this. He wanted to go into the bathroom to examine his genitals. He just had this urge that it needed to be done. For no reason whatsoever. He just felt like he had to do it. A man's urge. We've all had it here and there, but this one was very, very prominent. So he goes in the bathroom. He examines those genitals, and nothing's wrong.
Everything's okay?
Everything's in the place it should be.
Good.
Looks all the same.
Same size.
Same shape. Same general color.
Elongated cigar.
So he's like, okay, well, maybe I'm all right down there. So he walks out. Everything's good. But then they're like, okay, let's take some showers. We need to take a shower. Maybe we have like some weird contamination on us or something. So they took some showers. And then when they got out, Betty made them draw. It's time to draw. No, she's like, we're going to draw what we remember. No, she got crayons. He laid on the floor and he started drawing. No, they both drew kind of the things.
Just kicking his legs up in the air.
Exactly.
Drawing a spaceship.
Oh, my genitals are fine. Let's draw some stuff.
Look at a spaceship.
Yeah. I'm drawing pancakes, Betty. What are you drawing? So they're down there. They're drawing. Or they're not down there. They probably didn't do it on the floor. I'm sure it was on a desk.
I like the floor.
Yeah, I in my head they're both on the floor with their feet up. But they're drawing the things that they remember from the night. Okay, and that might come into play later. We don't know. Also, as they were looking at their vehicle, right, the car's trunk had strange, shiny circles that hadn't been there before, which is kind of odd, right?
Weird.
They seem to be really, really odd. So they decided to investigate further. So this happened because I think Cam might talk about this later, but she called her sister, I believe, and her sister's neighbor just happened to be a physicist.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small town. Super
in New Hampshire. People. Every other house is a physicist. But he said, this sounds kind of weird. Why don't you go grab a compass and see what happens?
Oh, yeah.
When you put it over there. So they did that. They put it on those shiny spots, and the compass just lost its mind. Just kept spinning like crazy as soon as it got there. And as soon as they moved it away, it would be fine. So that seems kind of like a weird deal, right? Your 57 Chevy shouldn't do that, but theirs did. So anyways, so there they are.
I wonder why the physicist thought to do that.
He's a physicist, man.
Use a compass.
They got minds.
They do.
Like steel traps, man.
They do.
They just know stuff. So there they are. They're standing in their home, trying to wrap their heads around it all. They got these shiny circles on their trunk. Genitals look fine, but they got missing time. They got broken watches. They got scuffed up shoes, odd feelings, and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. And that was the end of it. They just didn't know, right?
Yeah. One, they have this information that's kind of hazy and unclear to them. And reporting to authorities wasn't really on their mind.
Right,
For one, they didn't know what to even report, and two, they kind of didn't really
Barney, like, yeah, cops, my genitals look good.
I
don't know.
Don't tell me the pancake in the sky. Go find out for yourself.
I'm not kidding you. There was a pancake.
I'm not kidding. I ain't joking. I drew it. I colored it. Come see it.
Let me fax this over. We don't have fax machines. We'll figure it out.
I'll deliver. I'm a mailman.
I know how to get it
no
over.
Stamp.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so for one, they didn't really want to report because they didn't know all the details. They were kind of still in that haze. Second, they didn't really want to damage their reputation. This is a new thing. They don't like. How do you report something like this?
I don't know.
You don't understand. Plus, it's like people are going to think we are crazy.
Well, and plus,
Barney was really hesitant to share any of this information.
I mean, Barney's a black man in the 60s.
That's the other thing. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like, you don't want to bring attention to yourself in weird ways.
Yeah.
You're already like skating on thin ice as it is. Luckily, they lived in New Hampshire where that kind of thing was okay there. Yeah. But there was still
still, you have racism everywhere.
All over, yeah.
So, that was another big player and why they didn't really want to report anything. But like you were saying, Betty decided to, contact her sister. She was like, I wanted to talk to somebody about this. Happened to have the physicist that did all that stuff.
Of course, yeah.
The other thing is, the physicist had told a former police chief in town, he was a former police chief of the town, Newton. Yeah, old Newton.
Where they make the figs.
Yep. And he advised to report to the Peace Air Force Base. So this was kind of a new thing. Like unidentified flying objects were kind of starting to be seen, and there's jets and all this other stuff. So a lot of this stuff was reported to an Air Force base. And this one in particular, the Peace Air Force Base. Later, Betty had written a letter about this to I think that Peace Air Force Base as well. And a Major Paul Henderson contacted her. He was part of Project Blue Book.
Yep.
1952 to 1969. Project Blue Book was the code name for the systematic study of unidentified flying objects by the United States Air Force from March 52 to its termination in 1969.
And that was a classified program,
yes,
right, for a very long time.
So they reached out to her and they wanted to know more about this story. Barney again was hesitant to report the incident to the major, feeling embarrassed by it, and also knew that it would ruin him if it was released to the public.
Right.
So the Hills eventually met with Walter N. Webb, a Boston astronomer, and NICAP, the National Investigations Committee of Aerial Phenomena. Member, they met with the Hills on October 21st, 1961. 6-hour interview.
Oh, gosh.
The Hills related all that they could remember of the encounter. Barney stated that he had developed a mental block and that he suspects that there were some portions of the event that he did not wish to remember. He feels like it was like a traumatic event.
For sure.
He just couldn't pull up any of that information anymore. Webb stated that they were telling the truth and the incident probably occurred exactly as reported, except for some minor uncertainties and technicalities that was tolerated in any such observations where human judgment is involved.
Yeah, you never know, like, the length of something. Is it a cigar? Is it a pancake?
Exactly.
Is it sausage? Is it bacon? We don't know.
Yeah. So was it NICAP? I think that's how they say
Yeah.
it. NICAP's investigation or scientific advisor cross-examined the couple and found their accounts credible. The Air Force's Project Blue Book would ultimately dismiss the story, determining the unexplained craft could be explained by natural causes, hinting that the couple hadn't seen the spacecraft, but only the planet Jupiter.
Yeah, I love that.
It's up there anyway. It's probably what you saw.
It's probably Jupiter. I know Jupiter usually doesn't
A lot
chase
of people call this time of night.
Yeah.
It's Jupiter.
What
Every
is it?
time.
It's just Jupiter acting up again.
Yeah.
So-
So anyways, they were able to report a little early on, but the events were still a little unclear and a little, they were shaken up by it. So they didn't get a lot out of it early on.
They didn't know, and everything was still kind of hazy, right? But about 10 days after the incident, Betty started having some dreams at this point. Pretty vivid dreams, and she had these for 5 consecutive nights. After the initial series of dreams, they just stopped, and she didn't have the dreams again, but she did remember them because the dreams were so vivid. They had to do with a roadblock and a capture at the site, an examination room, an alien leader showing her a star map.
These were dreams.
These were dreams. And then she also had a dream about returning to their car afterwards. So this was obviously very concerning for her. She's like, is this real? Am I making this up, or what's going on? So after this, they decided they needed to try hypnosis to help uncover the memories here. And Dr. Benjamin Simon, he's a psychiatrist. He conducted...
Lived down the street, probably.
Yeah, he lived next to her step brother or whatever. Conducted hypnosis sessions with both Betty and Barney separately to help them try to recover their several hours of repressed memories.
Yeah.
So
I think that's important. Like you said, this was done separately. He didn't
No.
audience hypnotize them.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your hand up in the air.
Now cluck like a chicken. Yeah, no, he didn't do that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, they were separate. And when they were doing this, they were kind of comparing it to what her dreams were before, right? So these sessions began shortly after the Hills UFO encounter and continued until June 6th of 1964. Over 9 hours of recordings were made during these sessions, capturing their recollections and experiences under hypnosis. Dr. Simon, he tried to help the Hills access memories that were otherwise buried or blocked. During hypnosis, both Betty and Barney recalled vivid details of their encounter with extraterrestrial beings. The recollections include nude medical exams, invasive probing,
Yes.
and interaction with the alien entities aboard a spacecraft. Also, I just wanted to mention here, they did not mention anal probes, just invasive probes.
Oh, okay.
Here, okay. The first anal probe didn't
Not
get-
interested.
Not interested in the anus
if it
yet.
ain't-
Not yet. That comes in the 80s. That's when that kind of
Yeah.
came to fruition there. And Cam's going to go over a lot of this in detail here in just a minute, so I'm not going to get into
The anal
that.
probe
Yeah.
in particular.
He's always every episode. He's like, "Can we talk about anal probes?" No, he's going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that they remembered here. Despite being hypnotized separately, Betty and Barney's recollections were remarkably similar. After each session, I thought this was actually pretty interesting. Dr. Simon reinstated amnesia to prevent the Hills from consciously recalling everything.
That's so weird.
He's like, afterwards, you're not going to
He ain't
remember
telling
anything.
anybody.
No, but it was
That
for
was the
their
trigger
safety.
word.
Yeah.
Amnesia.
Amnesia. Pancake. That's the trigger word.
They just fall over.
Just fall over and start vibrating. No, it was to help them. It was for their own sanity, so they weren't just like remembering it constantly, right?
Yeah.
This step ensured that their memories would emerge gradually, allowing them to process the traumatic events without overwhelming emotional distress.
Yeah.
As the hypnosis sessions progressed, Betty and Barney pieced together their memories of the abduction. So this hypnotic regression apparently allowed them to access those missing parts of their lives. And it got pretty intense in a few of them. If you go and listen to these...
Yeah, and I think that's why the amnesia thing was...
Yeah. Barney was screaming several times.
He freaked out, and he was just like, I can't believe it's happening. Total fear during this.
Yeah, it was not a good time for him or the psychiatrist or Betty or nothing.
So,
Nobody was doing
what
it.
we heard earlier was the psychiatrist, Simon, talking to Barney.
He's talking
right?
to him at the beginning. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you want some
I
details?
want the deets, baby.
Everybody
Give me the good
wants
stuff.
the deets, yeah.
I want to hear it.
So, under hypnosis with Dr. Benjamin Simons,
Yeah.
as was consistent with conscious recall, Betty's session. Under hypnosis, Betty's account was similar to her 5 dreams about the UFO abduction, and some notable differences, mainly pertaining to her capture and release. Also, the technology on the craft was different. The short men were different significantly in physical appearance as that had been heard before. Barney and Betty's memories in the hypnotic regressions were, however, consistent, like you said.
Yeah, they kept similar.
So, description, a vessel had landed. This is kind of what had come from this. That a vessel had landed on Hill's car, putting them to sleep. Afterward, gray beings walked them up a long ramp and into the spacecraft.
So I must have missed that. It actually landed on the car.
Yeah, because that's maybe where the circles were.
That makes sense.
So this only came out after that hypnosis. So
yeah,
they described the spacecraft lit by blue fluorescent lights reminiscent of a surgical suite. So it was like a test facility that was in the air, a pancake test facility.
Yeah.
Once inside, the Hills were separated, taking turns in an examination room that had curved walls and a large light hanging from the ceiling, just like a surgical suite.
Yep.
Each was asked to climb up on the metal table. They're not pulling, it's like, you get up on your own.
Get on. Yeah.
But they did that in an alien voice.
Yeah.
The table was so short, Barney's legs hung over the side. Little details like that it'd be hard to kind of...
Just fake, yeah.
Just like... It kind of comes out.
Yeah.
The shadows were absent, obviously, because there's so much lighting in the room.
And they actually said the lighting, and Betty said at one point, it's like you couldn't see the source of the light. It's like almost like the entire place was just like glowing.
Yeah.
Right?
Mastered LEDs.
Oh my gosh, they had it
The
down.
aliens.
Yeah.
The alien beings had oddly shaped heads, large craniums, and indistinct lips and nostrils.
They sound gorgeous.
Weird looking faces.
Yeah.
Their eyes were prominent. And this was the thing that kind of drew out a lot of fear with Barney. He had a hard time retelling. He's like, those eyes, it's like
He didn't like
in
the eyes.
Spider-Man, when
did
the
not
grandma
like the
or his aunt was like freaking out. Yeah. Their eyes were prominent. Their foreheads and eyes were the dominating features.
And so this must have been where that like quintessential alien being comes from, right?
That's exactly what they're kind of describing here. Is the large eyes that are kind of oval shaped,
bulbous
little
head.
like missing nose, tiny little lips,
Yeah.
weird stuff. During the examinations, the beings removed Betty and Barney's clothes. There was a point where Betty did recall in her hypnosis that she remembers being kind of peacefully taken to the ship and then kind of started to fight against them, and that's when her dress was torn.
Yeah.
So,
don't fight Betty.
no fighty.
they
I don't know.
got
They're
a
from Mexico.
Mexican accent.
They took clippings of their nails. They took strands from their hair, and
gross.
they scraped their skin. Sound pretty easygoing. But then Betty mentioned there was probing.
Yeah.
She remembers being rolled over and felt a rectal probe.
Oh,
at one
so
point.
she did say rectal
She
probe.
did. I actually did.
Interesting.
I dug for it and I found it.
That's what the alien said too.
Where's that hole at? These humans are weird.
Yeah.
During these procedures, she recalls humming between the aliens that she felt was some sort of communication method. I know.
Is that what
When
the
I
aliens
said hum,
sound
it's like just probing and like humming along.
It's like a Smurf or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Barney said he
Okay.
recalls many probes as well, and that he recalls his genitals being placed in a solution. Even a tool or something was put around him.
Put
that
a
he
tool
recalls.
around your tool, buddy.
Yeah. He too recalls unclear speech between them, but he mentioned that he saw like their mouths moving, like they were communicating.
Yeah.
They put it in a jail. Each sample was placed on a clear material, not unlike a glass slide.
Sure.
Needles connected to the long wires probed their arms, legs, and spines. So they were poked and prodded a ton.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun experience.
No, it seemed better
Full
until
physical.
the
Yeah.
sports physical level 10.
Yes.
Yeah. One large needle around 4 to 6 inches, this is pretty gross, was inserted into Betty's belly button.
Oh,
That would be so painful.
for sure, man.
Apparently, they figured this as a pregnancy test.
Sure.
Left her twisting in pain throughout. And being Barney and Betty called the leader. Oh my gosh, messed that whole
being,
sentence.
yeah.
A being Barney and Betty called the leader watched from the side. You know, yeah, humming along.
Yeah.
After Betty's exam ended, the beings rushed back into the room, and she kind of explained this weird part about them discovering that Barney's teeth could be removed.
Yeah, they thought that was hilarious.
So he had dentures, and they were like, "What is this?" And they were just kind of like showing at each other, like,
the black one's teeth come out.
Betty laughed and explained that Barney had dentures. She was telling the leader kind of guy. In fact, that human aging was a difficult thing for the beings to understand.
Yeah, they
They're
didn't
like,
understand.
Why'd the teeth fall out?
What are you doing?
We saw the butthole, but the teeth are falling out?
Maybe it's because we put it in the butthole. Is that why?
Later.
I don't know.
Yeah. Alone with the leader, Betty asked where the craft had flown. And she's like, where did you guys come from? The being joked with her saying, if you don't know where you are, then there wouldn't be any point in me telling you where I am. Yeah.
What a subtle way of telling her she's an idiot.
If you don't if you don't know where you are, then where,
do you even know
what would it make any difference if I told you where we were?
Do you even know what state you're in, Betty? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Hampshire?
New Hampshire? Later under hypnosis, Betty actually drew a star map that he showed her on the ship. You know, he couldn't explain it, and he's like, I'm not telling you what it's all about, but she redrew it.
In one version that I read, he actually gave her a map at one point and then took it back.
I saw that too.
Then he took it back.
He gave it back.
Yeah, never mind.
You're not ready for this. Tore the sleeve on her shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Barney described the beings as generally similar to Betty's hypnotic recollection.
Yeah.
He said the beings stared into his eyes with a terrifying, mesmerizing effect. Under hypnosis, Barney said, "Oh, those eyes, they're in my brain." Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told to close my eyes because I saw two eyes coming close to mine. I felt as if the eyes had pushed onto my eyes. That's pretty creepy.
I just when
like
I hear
a
his
face
voice
laying on your.
So in the movie that played, it was James Earl Jones that played him.
Yeah.
So that I keep
It's
thinking
Darth
of James. Darth Vader's voice.
Yeah.
You know. Those eyes. I don't know how you do.
Those eyes.
Yeah.
Can't do it either. I'm not even afraid that they're connected to the body. They're just there. Like it was just so dominating and so terrifying. And this is where he got really like restless and agitated during it.
Yeah.
Again, the language is kind of described as like sometimes they understood it and the leader could speak English, but a lot of other times they couldn't make out what the aliens were saying between each other. Also, a few times they communicated with Barney, and it seemed to be through what he explained as thought transference, which is, telepathy, but he didn't know the word at the time.
Yeah.
So, Simon's conclusions. When the series of hypnosis sessions were complete, Simon wrote an article about the Hills for the Journal of Psychiatric Opinion. Now, Simon, he really wasn't too... He didn't really believe too much about the UFO thing. It wasn't of importance to him. He basically was trying to help the Hills and just dig out any information to see why they were struggling so much. He explained that he truly wanted to help them, but he did comment that the hypnosis was done in separate rooms. Like you were saying, recollection of the events was quite similar, and very real emotions. No sign of deceit. He's like, this was genuine fear and detail. And so even though he didn't believe in the UFO experience himself, he was like, it was very similar between the two, and it was real. It was very emotional.
Yeah, and you would assume that a psychiatrist could probably parse out somebody who's lying and somebody who's not.
For sure.
So I mean,
it seemed legit. It seemed very legit, even to him.
Exactly. Even to him, it seemed legit, which is very interesting. So we did mention the dress.
They drew it and colored it so many times that it just came out so clear.
Exactly.
It really happened.
It really happened.
Listen, all of us go online daily, whether it be at home, at work, at the airport, and little did you know you're not protected. But if you get a VPN from Surfshark, it can protect you and all of your devices from online threats. Go Gray Man Online. Basically, you can shield yourself and your information from websites and other online services. You don't have to worry about malware, phishing, or obnoxious emails. And often, you click on that unsafe ad, and it'll take you down that dark, dark road. That's the thing about Surfshark is it allows you to stay protected, and one subscription will protect all of your devices, which is pretty awesome. The other thing I really like about Surfshark is it allows you to stream content in a different country because you will connect to a different server. You can watch soccer in the UK, or you can watch Netflix in France, whatever you want to do, but it's pretty awesome. It keeps you safe, and you can use it for your own entertainment. Head to surfshark.deal/secret. Enter promo code SECRET for 86% off from 24 months plus 3 extra months for free. The other thing is it's fully refundable after 30 days. If you want to just try it out, see how cool it is, how well it works, they will give you your money back after 30 days. So go check them out. Again, that's surfshark.deal/secret and protect yourself online.
So let's talk about the dress. At one point, there was the dress that was worn by Betty that night. She found some pink powder on the dress. She's like, what? What's this? Barney, what's this?
Taste it.
What
Smell
is it? Ew. So she like shook the dress. Some of the powder fell out, but a lot of it kind of still clung to the fabric. She's like, what is this? What's happening here? And the dress obviously was damaged, but she just like, she didn't want to throw it away. She's like, this is the dress I was abducted in. It's
There's
memories.
no sidewalk chalk back then, I don't think.
No, maybe I'm sure there
but
was.
pink?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very odd. So after the abduction event, the dress hung in Betty's closet for many years. It was not in like a protective bag. There was no chemicals or disinfectants or moth repellents on it or anything. Occasionally, she would just take it out of the closet and show people. Come over. Hey, you guys want to see my dress?
You want to see the pink?
You want to see it? So she would bring it out and show
Rip,
visitors.
pink.
Yeah.
I'm putting it back.
Aliens. Okay?
Duh.
Duh. Now let's get back to drinking. Playing canasta. So in 2001, the existence of the dress came to light.
Betty, get that dress out. Show 'em.
After this game, we're going to look at Betty's dress. All right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It really is. In 2001, the existence of the dress came to light, and it seemed highly likely that it might contain evidence of the abduction. So,
For sure.
an analytical chemist, Phyllis A. Buttinger, did a detailed examination.
Beautiful last name.
Yeah, maybe it's Buttinger. I don't know. I can't speak well.
Butterfinger.
Phyllis A. Butterfinger looked at the dress. So you got swatches from both the discolored area and the area that wasn't, like as a control, right? And he did some analysis on this. And he submitted a 47-page report on the one dress.
Wow.
I know, man. I don't know if he was getting paid by the word or what, but it was 47 pages.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So there was a DNA analysis that was conducted on it. And so the analysis revealed signs of damage, particularly on the right sleeve. I don't know about Butterfinger.
Can they still get that
I could
dress
have done
today?
that myself without being a chemical analyst. There's damage on the right sleeve. I can look at it and tell you there's damage. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's still, I assume it's still around
They
somewhere.
bury her in it so that you can't ever get it.
Maybe that'd actually be
Because it'd be
a great
kinda,
idea.
I know.
You know what I mean? So this obviously kind of corroborated Betty's account of being carried by the arms and the armpits during
Makes
the
sense.
abduction, right? Aliens weren't super gentle with her,
Yeah,
and they got the dress all messed up. And there was also
signs of a struggle here.
exactly. Traces of bacteria were found on the left sleeve, consistent with soil-related contamination. Okay, the results revealed that the pink powder was mildew.
Really?
Yep, but this wasn't ordinary mildew.
It had a Jupiter mildew.
It had peculiar characteristics. Spectroscopy indicated that the powder had protein-type absorption consistent with biological material. This was right where the alien beings would have grabbed her. So basically, it's like alien skin powder or something.
Skin powder.
You know what I mean? Look, we don't know if they could all be powdered up.
They could be.
We don't know.
Try to look like humans or like, we got the color right.
Yeah, like the only video they've seen of us is like with George Washington powder in his wig or something, you know. I don't know. But apparently there's pink powder that comes off their skin.
Wow.
These findings added to the dress's mystique, obviously, and the authenticity of Hill's experience. So a lot of people thought this was just going to like say, oh, you guys are idiots. There's nothing here. But it was kind of inconclusive, but it was biological matter.
That's crazy.
Pretty interesting, right, when it comes down to it. So let's talk about the impact on this on the Hills, right? Like the public attention that came from this. This was the first alien abduction claim to receive significant attention in the media and from the public. Back then, the idea of being taken aboard an alien spacecraft was novel, obviously controversial. Nobody had really presented that idea yet. UFOs had been a thing.
Yeah, they kind of seen them and they didn't really think they were hostile in any way, right? They were just like, man,
they
don't know what's going on.
Nobody knew, but it was mostly like, oh, I saw it, but it was never like, oh, they took me aboard the ship. This was one of the big first ones that this happened. So in 1966, there was a book, The Interrupted Journey, and that was released detailing the Hills experience, and it became a bestseller right away.
Yeah.
Everybody was reading that sucker on the beach that summer. In 1975.
It would be super interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, there really isn't. At that point, yeah, you would definitely want to read that. And then in 75, acclaimed actors James Earl Jones and Estelle Parsons portrayed the Hills in a made-for-TV film titled The UFO Incident. And I watched part of this. You can actually find this on YouTube. Not great, but it's interesting and it does tell the story. And they're talking to the psychiatrist and
Really?
It's
I
pretty
know that there was kind of a bigger push of like some of the events around that time, not as much about the UFO encounter, right?
Yep,
and that's kind of what I understood.
So Betty,
who wants to watch that?
I don't know. Betty became a UFO celebrity, giving media appearances and writing about her crazy stories. So like after researching all this, it kind of seemed like Betty really wanted to get this story out. She really wanted to kind of be the center of attention on this. And Barney's like, I just want to go send the mail where it needs to go.
Eat some pancakes.
I want a pancake and do my mail route. In color. I don't want any. And so
so it wasn't until he passed away, right, that she really took off, like sharing her information.
Exactly, yeah. So the Hills story kind of touched off a wave of copycat abductee accounts, a whole bunch of them starting to come into the public eye after that. So this was kind of the catalyst, the spark for all of those stories, which is why it's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
Because, I even mentioned one here. So obviously, with anything, there's some skepticism. And there was some support for it too, but some of the skepticism, John McDonald, a resident of the area. Oh,
exactly.
A resident of the area in which the Hills claimed to have been abducted had produced a detailed analysis of their journeys and concluded that the episode was provoked by their misperceiving an aircraft warning beacon on the Cannon Mountain as a UFO. He's like, everybody gets that confused. That mountain, it's got a light on it.
Yeah. Would you? This is like, why was he doing this? Just for fun?
I don't know. He just was like pissed off about it.
Like, I
don't want a bunch of tension around here. That's probably more it, and I'd be that way too.
Yeah.
I don't want attention.
Just a light up on a mountain.
He notes that from the road that the Hills took, the beacon appears and disappears at exactly the same time the Hills describe the UFO as appearing and disappearing. Like it goes behind the mountain or something.
Sure.
The remainder of the experience is ascribed to stress, sleep deprivation, and false memories recovered under hypnosis.
Yeah, we'll talk.
They weren't really there.
We'll talk more about that later.
After reading McDonald's.
That's how old guys say McDonald's.
That is, go get a burger at a McDonald's.
I want a Big Mac at McDonald's.
That's exactly how they say it. UFO expert Robert Schaefer writes that the Hills are the poster children for not driving when sleep deprived.
So it's all about sleep deprivation.
He's like, they're just too tired. And they don't remember anything, and weird stuff happens.
I mean, it does sometimes. Have you ever driven home and just not know how you got home?
Yep. I remember times of like going skiing or something, then you come home, you're like, how did I get home?
How did I get home? How did my pants get off? What's happening?
I'm going to go check myself.
So,
Schaefer wrote, I was present at the National UFO Conference in New York City in 1980, at which Betty presented some of the UFO photos she had taken. She showed what must have been far more than 200 slides, mostly of blips, blurs, and blobs against a dark background.
We've been there, Cam.
We have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a convention that had very similar photos. These were supposed to be UFOs coming in close, chasing her car, landing, etc. After a talk that exceeded about twice its allotted time, Betty was literally jeered off the stage by what had been the first a sympathetic audience. They kind of thought it was ridiculous after she presented her information, which kind of sucks.
It does.
This incident, witnessed by many of the ufology's leaders and top activists, removed any lingering doubts about Betty's credibility. She had none. So they felt like it just wasn't good information. It was poor photos.
Yeah. Like she would have done a service to her story had she not been such like a little like UFO spotlight whore. You know what I mean? Like she was just trying to get out there as much as she could.
For sure.
And
she was interested in sharing her story, and it just didn't work out very well for her. There was another thing that they felt had a big role in what the hypnosis had showed. In 1990, an article entirely unpredisposed, Martin Kottmeyer suggested that Barney's memories revealed under hypnosis might have been influenced by the Bellero Shield, an episode of the science fiction anthology series The Outer Limits, which had been broadcast on February 10th, 1964. 2 weeks before Barney's first hypnotic session. So a lot of times they feel like it was media influence that caused him to kind of share information that matched the description from the show.
And I watched part of that episode too. It was cool.
Really?
Yeah.
You did?
I watched part of it.
So it was like the big eyes, the gray figures.
Exactly.
It was all of that.
Yep.
And others had said that Barney had probably some like Hitler and Nazi fears too, as saying they were in a gray suits or they were gray figures, kind of like the Nazis.
And
were.
they had like very staccato like movements and stuff.
So
like
they're thinking like
Nazis.
his World War II veteran experiences had kind of drifted over into this, which it does. I mean, it's plausible.
Yeah.
They also some other studiers of this whole thing had said like Kottmeyer that there was other Outer Limit episodes that kind of showed even more details that kind of matched up with what Barney said, which, kind of sucks for him. They think that he just saw the episode before one late night eating pancakes and decided to just retell what he saw.
Yep.
So there were several of those. A lot of people saw that there was some matching information that went along with media and different TV shows at that time. So I think the other one was Colavito, also relates to the Hills recovered memories of aliens in shiny black jackets that also coincided with a Twilight Zone episode in January 31st, 1964. So a few months before.
That was before the hypnosis, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
Makes
a lot
sense.
of these descriptors had come from TV shows, is what a lot of people said.
Right.
So,
Which could make sense. I can
it
see
does.
that.
It does.
So, like, look, there was a personal toll for all of this, especially for Barney, right? They both experienced these nightmares and these dreams, which kind of haunted them for a very long time. And the trauma of their experience left them anxious, constantly questioning what they had really seen and what had really happened during those missing hours. And Barney really grappled with his emotions afterwards, in the aftermath of all this, and his memories of the abduction. When you can hear that in the hypnosis, like, he's terrified. Like, he is not enjoying this experience. This is not fun for him in any way. He described the alien doctors with like a mix of fear and fascination, much like a patient awakening from surgery or something, or during surgery, right? Barney's health deteriorated after the encounter. He developed physical symptoms, including rashes and infections, and that is part of the genital thing. Like, he ended up getting like this weird ring of genital warts.
No kidding.
Like,
I didn't know that.
right where he said that the
Dipped in the ointment?
Yeah, dipped
Or
in
the
the ointment.
contraption.
So he had to have like
Well, that's
surgery.
great. The aliens are super infested with HPV.
I know they got something going on, but he had to go get surgery to get rid of it, which sucks. But they're saying like, look, this is probably most likely linked to the stress and the emotional turmoil that he experienced. And in '62, just a year after this sighting, Barney consulted with 2 doctors in an attempt to relieve his nervous condition. Didn't really help him a whole lot. Unfortunately, he died of a cerebral hemorrhage February 25th, 1969 at age 46.
Very also a death by like a really kind of concerning, spontaneous type of death. Not like cancer or radiation. It's like,
yeah, does that add to the mystery of this?
I think it does a little
Probably,
bit. I think it does
right?
a little bit.
So after that's when Betty kind of went on to become a celebrity in this whole UFO
really
community.
started sharing all that stuff.
She started getting in the spotlight. And then she died of cancer October 17th, 2004. That's a day after I got married. At age 85, never having remarried.
Is it really?
I got married October 16th, 2004.
Now
Day
what
after. She's like, I can finally die.
They're together.
They're together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. For sure.
Yeah.
Just
I think so
their
too.
lives, what they went through.
Yeah. And
so
like, what about the legacy of this whole thing? Like, what is, you know?
I mean, nearly everything that we know or think we know about alien abductions started with Betty and Barney Hill.
This is it.
They were the first to have claimed that they had been abducted by aliens. The first people to describe aliens as not looking like science fiction men in jumpsuits.
Yeah.
October 1966. This is when John Fuller's book, The Interrupted Journey, like you were saying, based on the Hill stories, published, and it became an immediate bestseller.
Yep.
1975, NBC airs the story in a made-for-TV movie titled The UFO Incident. Interesting is like right after that, after the premiere in October 20th, 1975, 2 weeks later, a white Texan named Travis Walton claimed that he too was abducted while clearing brush in Arizona.
So that's when Fire in the Sky
Fire in the
happens.
Sky happened
Wow.
just after this.
Yeah, so
whole
you
thing
look at
started
that-
to come forward.
Is that, is all of this just really suggestion from media influence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's very interesting.
And there's been a lot of different TV shows, Dark Skies, X-Files, that have kind of pulled these like the story of Betty and Barney Hill into the media. So they started a revolution when it comes to aliens and alien abductions.
Well, like you just said, it was the first time that they weren't like people in like weird clothes. They didn't look like people. They had weird faces and eyes and heads, and they were short.
There really wasn't much alien description.
No,
right?
it was always like they were
bright lights and a UFO.
Yeah, or if they did see it, it was like a person in a suit type, like a jumpsuit.
Another human.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff there. But what about why? Was there any descriptions on that?
So there are a lot of debates. There are a lot of theories of like what actually happened here. One of the thing is the skeptics say, it was hypnagogic hallucination. If I said that right. Basically, it's like a dreamlike state between awake and sleep. It's dreaming, basically, right? They argue that the UFO encounter occurred in this altered state of consciousness. Right? They were driving. They both kind of fell asleep. Somehow it was a shared experience, a shared hallucination. I don't know how that happens, but apparently it can.
If you're snorting pink powder, maybe it happens.
Dreaming of pancakes, snorting pink powder, something's going to happen. Stress. Obviously, they were under significant stress due to the interracial marriage, the civil rights activism.
So many different ways,
societal
to get
pressures.
home, not get lost.
Yeah.
Racial stuff going on at the time.
Hitler in your brain still, right?
There
was
want to know what plane it is because you're an avid airplane watcher.
Grenade thing happened in his past. He doesn't know what it is. Right? There's just a lot of emotional strain, and this manifested in a shared delusion from them.
And I think too, like stress nowadays is handled and treated in different ways.
For sure.
Then it's like you deal with it.
You didn't even know
you go
what it
back
was.
to work.
Yeah.
Like
the mail keeps coming. You can't stop. You got to keep delivering it.
Yeah.
Right? Sleep paralysis. That was something they said, and I don't know what the difference between that and the other one is, but it was
terrifying.
sleep paralysis. They couldn't move. They were
pedal to the metal and paralyzed.
Yeah. I don't get that one, but that was another one. Some critics claim that the hypnosis sessions actually implanted false memories. And this is actually a big thing that this is pretty dubious. Like people are like, this happened in the 80s with the satanic panic. Same thing.
Yeah.
They what was it? Michelle Remembers, I think, was the book about. There's a lot of weird crap that happens with hypnosis, and they're like, "This ain't good. This ain't real." You know what I mean? And then again,
I've never been hypnotized. I
haven't
watched
either.
all of my.
I've tried
weird,
so hard.
Me too. Makes me mad.
I wanted to so bad.
Some things would have come out, and I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah, probably good. The Hills live in a time when UFO sightings and alien encounters were popularized by science fiction, movies, media.
Yep.
This is what we talked about. They think this was just influenced by those cultural narratives that are out there.
Yeah.
We don't know. Genuine abduction. The supporters are saying, look, they got abducted. That's what the story is. There is physical evidence. There's stories that corroborate with each other. Even at one point, somebody in the Air Force actually said there was a blip on the radar that evening.
That's so
at
crazy.
The same time. So look, hey, this is actually something that happened.
Yeah.
And
like you said, like later on, after one thing happens, like I can see other things popping up as saying I got abducted too.
Sure, yeah.
But to be the original and to like never have anything like that happen before, that takes. And a couple that were like smart and it just seems weird.
Does seem kind of weird. There's also that Zeta Reticuli connection. That map that Betty claimed that she saw on the ship and she drew it. It actually it validates their encounter because it corresponds to the Zeta Reticuli star system.
Does it really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that it ever matched up with anything.
It did. And so they're saying, hey, that's where these aliens are from.
That's awesome.
So anyways, the last one, there's a fringe theory that suggests that the beings encountered by the Hills were not extraterrestrial, but they were interdimensional travelers.
Gotta always throw that in there.
Or time travelers.
Yeah.
Right? They're just future us coming back in a pancake.
I've definitely heard that the aliens are just us in different parts of the universe.
You made a time machine out of a pancake?
Yeah.
Come on.
And it has regular windows?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. So that's some of the things that, it's parallel realities, alternate timelines, all that kind of stuff. They always got to throw that one in there.
Yeah. And so, there are some things that are still left unanswered.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, what was that pink powder? Like, we really didn't have a way to analyze that fully and truly figure out what that was. The other thing, like we were just mentioning, it's like there was no other idea like this before. Yeah. It never happened. And so
real.
for them to come up with it together and to have some like real plausible things to it, like the fact that it took them on board and it did some medical procedures and they had some matching things to go along with it. It just those things are unanswered. And then the fact that you had some military blips during that time that didn't that explains that maybe there was something that came down and picked them up. So there are some things about this that just weren't proven wrong.
Right.
A lot of the counter theories were that it was like it came from movies, it came from this and that, and so, but not all of them.
Not all of them, no.
And so it is an interesting, man. I like it.
I do too.
I feel like this one's really hard to dismiss.
It is tough, man.
Like
it is.
Some of the other ones, it's easier because it seems to like go along with other stories. This one was an original.
It is the original, man.
And so, I don't know. They just seem. I just don't see. I can see some of the psychiatric things as being like, they were under a lot of stress and these things, but to develop together and to be separated and to describe the same features, it's almost like they rehearsed it but had never told anyone else.
I mean, maybe they did rehearse it. We don't know.
It's true.
It doesn't make it any less interesting.
Yeah.
Look, my favorite thing about I love the fact that this was the first one.
Yeah.
This was, the genesis of all abduction stories. And that's why I feel like it was interesting. And that's why we wanted to do this one, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably the most famous. I mean, like you said, the Walton one's really famous too.
I think it's the
and there's some other
longest,
ones.
most detailed one.
Yeah,
like
for
of
sure.
like multiple different
we
people
have
involved.
These
smart
recordings. We have these recordings of their hypnosis sessions, and she had so much time in front of cameras and stuff, and on radio shows. They actually both went on a radio show at one point in the mid '60s to talk about this. There's that recording out there too.
Yeah,
there's just a lot. That's available.
I think and this is a weird favorite thing about it, but like the fact that they were a biracial couple, it just makes it way less likely that they're going to make a story up.
Yeah.
Because they've got all eyes on them anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
And then to go through this. So it makes it very believable to me.
It really does. So that is the Betty and Barney Hill abduction.
Watch out there.
Watch out, man. Thanks for listening, guys. We absolutely appreciate it. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, and Facebook, and all those places. Make sure you're subscribed. But remember, don't tell anyone about what you heard today, because this podcast is a secret.